All right, so what we're looking at here is the Infusionsoft dashboard. Now I'm in a sandbox account, and so at this moment there's really not a whole lot going on in this account. As you can see, only 5 total contacts and not really a whole lot going on through the particular campaigns and other widgets here. But I did want to show you that this is the dashboard, and if you would like, you can add as many widgets here as you need to. You click this Add Widgets button and you're set. Now I think it's fair to note that there isn't at this point really any visual charts or graphs available on this dashboard, and I think that's something that Infusionsoft is working on. But at this point, what you're going to get, even if you add in custom reports and custom searches and things like that, you're really mostly just getting numbers. Now I think I mentioned already earlier in the video that there are other add-ons that extend Infusionsoft's functionality, and there are other tools that would allow you to do even more robust dashboards and other functionality, but we'll get into that in a little bit later. So what I want to jump into here first is really just how to get around the CRM. If you come up here to Infusionsoft, it's broken down into 3 main sections. What you'll see is that there is a CRM portion, so Contact Relationship Manager is what that stands for, which means you've got the ability to add contacts, companies, opportunities, if you're familiar with that term. I think Salesforce uses that as well. Others call it deals. There's a referrals partner, and even visitors section, which is more about the contacts coming to your website that aren't really identified as contacts yet. They're just visitors. The next section is marketing, and that's really the bulk of Infusionsoft and its capabilities as campaign builder. It's what you've probably seen or heard of. And then e-commerce. So CRM, marketing, and e-commerce, where you're allowed to set up a basic storefront or order form and collect payments. So I want to show you in this demo those 3 main sections. And as I mentioned to start, I think it's best to show you around the CRM and what's included there. And what you'll see is that up here at the top right, if I want to add a new contact, all I need to do is click the plus button and add in the contact details. This is a customizable form, so if you need to add additional fields that are specific to your business or custom fields, maybe you have somebody answering the phone and collecting leads that way, this would be a great opportunity for you to customize that form and let that person add new leads or contacts at any given time. The search contact is pretty straightforward. There's not a, that's very standard, I think, in any CRM that you're going to get. But what I want to show you is now what the contact records look like. All right, so what we're looking at here are the 5 contacts that are in the system. And what I'd like to show you is how you can get around the quick function pieces here within Infusionsoft. What you're seeing is a series of CRM related functions that you're able to add manually, but a lot of these you can also do in an automated way using the campaign builder. So we'll talk about that later, but I do want to go through each of these just to give you an idea of what they all look like. So notes is as it sounds. Notes is going to be any notes related to you, your sales team, any calls or conversations that you have that you can add in. Tasks, same thing. You can add a task if you need to. This one's appointments. So Infusionsoft has a built-in calendar that you can add appointments to. Email is any email history that they would have received either through an automated campaign, or there are some plugins for Microsoft and G Suite out there that will also sync up some of the emails and give you a full email history. This allows you to look at recent quotes or orders for this particular contact. We'll talk more about that in the e-commerce section. Tags is going to be, that's Infusionsoft's filing system, labeling system. So any one contact can have multiple tags to put them in different folders essentially. Forms is going to be, as it sounds, any form submissions either from your website or internal forms. If you have for internal workflows, you can also add an internal form. And those are right here. This one is useful for seeing any campaigns within Infusionsoft that they are a part of. So for example, you may have a follow-up campaign after somebody requests some information from your website, and that may go for 3 or 4 weeks. What's going to show in this one is any recent history they would have received and any upcoming campaign items that they will receive. This is the opportunities section. So again, deals, opportunities, kind of synonymous there, but if there is something related to the opportunity, you'll see that here, and any one contact can have multiple opportunities based on maybe different products that you're offering. And then this is the scored and recent activity, meaning Infusionsoft has the ability to set up a lead scoring system. So as somebody moves through your sales process or your marketing funnel, you're able to tag and give them a higher score, higher lead score at that point. And this will show you all those activities. All right, I think it's worth mentioning that what we're looking at here is not the full CRM, meaning if you click into a contact, which it does give you the ability to do that, you're able to see a full record of this particular contact. What you're seeing here is all the information available that we have in Infusionsoft for this contact. And as you can see, it's pretty comprehensive. There's quite a bit going on here. And so I'm not going to dive into it because a lot of it has already been covered in those icons, the CRM functions across the bottom in the chunky view. But this is worth noting that if you need more information, it's definitely available, and it's all right here. So what we're looking at here is the tags section of Infusionsoft, and right now this particular sample app has 57 tags. And I think I mentioned this before, but really tagging is just a way for you to label contacts within your system. And there's two ways to add a contact to a tag. One is you do it manually and you go through and you find the contacts that you need to and you apply those tags as needed. The other way, and the more popular way, would be through the Infusionsoft Campaign Builder, which we'll get into later on. But that allows you to both add or remove tags as needed in an automated way based on the actions that contacts are taking. So if they purchase a product, we can tag them one way. If they fill out a particular form, we can tag them one way. If they click on a specific link, those are the types of things that you can do. A great example is when someone enters your marketing funnel, you might tag them as prospect. And when they purchase a product, you might do two things. You would remove the prospect tag and apply a customer tag. So that's kind of a very basic example, but what you'll see here is that some of these can get very detailed, and it's up to you to decide on a tagging structure that works for your business and a naming convention that works for your business. And there's some methodologies out there. There's a lot of different options and guides and things like that. But the main thing is you need to set up a system ahead of time so that these tags don't get unwieldy, because they can really get out of control quickly, because as you can see, there's no set of rules or standards. It's up to you on how you build and structure these tags. I don't think a discussion about the Infusionsoft CRM would be complete without at least talking about the sales pipeline within Infusionsoft. Infusionsoft gives you, in addition to tagging and other ways to segment contacts, it also provides a sales pipeline. And this particular area of Infusionsoft is built really for the sales team, a salesperson. Most of Infusionsoft is really geared, I would say, towards marketers, except for this section. This is more for one-on-one interaction, adding notes, appointments, tasks. Those are the functions here within the sales pipeline. And what you're seeing here is, again, because this is a demo app, this isn't fully active, and there's some things that are maybe a little bit out of order. But what you're able to do is set up essentially stages for a particular sales pipeline, and then run basic reports off of that. For example, an uncontacted opportunity, what is the probability of close? In that case, maybe 10%. After a discovery meeting, that jumps to 33%. So as you can see, there's different things that you can do here based off target, number of days, probability, and checklist and other things that you can add to these pipelines. This isn't where you manage your leads, but this is just the overview of the pipeline. Where you manage your leads is in this opportunities section. And the opportunity section looks very similar to the contact section, except for it's more geared for this sort of information. And it includes things like when will the deal close, what stage are they currently in, what's their budget, those sorts of things that are more geared towards a salesperson. The final main section of Infusionsoft in the CRM portion is the referral partners. Now, visitors we don't really need to get into. Again, that's more about website tracking and things like that. But functionally, referral partners is a big part of Infusionsoft. And what we're looking at here is one referral partner that this particular app has. And what it allows Lionel Messi to do here is create links that he can then send to his friends, family, his list, and those then will track back any contacts and any purchases made through the Infusionsoft app. That's really the extent that I want to get into right now, but just know that it allows for referral partners to promote your business and then track any of that coming back to the referral partner themselves, so you can cut a commission check or give credit as needed. All right, let's head over to the e-commerce section, and what you'll see here is that there is a lot going on here in this e-commerce section, but the main thing is that when you log into Infusionsoft and you want to sell something online using Infusionsoft, you'll just follow these main steps. So there's first products, then you need to design what either your shopping cart or order form will look like. Then you need to create that shopping cart or the order forms. And then you need to tell Infusionsoft how you want to accept payments. And then based off of that, you can do some promotions or even shipping options. So Infusionsoft, it's worth saying Infusionsoft is not a robust e-commerce solution, but it does definitely provide a great solution for basic online transactions. So as long as you don't have a huge storefront with lots of products and lots of SKUs and product options, maybe you're selling just digital products, 4 or 5 digital products, ebooks, courses, things like that, Infusionsoft is a great fit, and you can use an order form for those products. Now, part of the e-commerce section that I would definitely want to at least touch on is that with Infusionsoft, you can accept orders through the shopping cart, as I mentioned, order forms, also through invoices. So if you have an invoice that you need to send to a prospect, they then have almost a mini portal where they can go in and put in their credit card information, and you can accept payments that way. You can also accept payments through the API, meaning third parties can plug into Infusionsoft and charge cards and do all of that. ClickFunnels is a good example of that, but also any custom solution that you might want to build would be a good example for that as well. So let me show you how specifically the invoices work, because I think that's an interesting piece that's fairly new within Infusionsoft. All right, so we'll go look for Messi here, and let's say he's interested in buying one of our products. What I would do is I'd click on this $sign. I could click add a quote and then offer maybe the $7 product as a quote. You can also add additional products if you need to. And there's a couple of things I can do now. One is I can then send him this quote and he can pay for it. But the other option is, let's say that we invoice people after the service has been done. In that case, I could just, instead of creating a quote, I could place the order. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and do that now. And now an actual order, an unpaid order, as you can see here, has been created in Infusionsoft and tied to his record. So this is now within Infusionsoft, and all I need to do is click send invoice, and that will send out to this particular contact, and he can then choose to make that payment at that time. Now you can run basic reports that show you unpaid and things like that, but it's definitely worth mentioning that this is an option within Infusionsoft. The final thing as it relates to the e-commerce setup, so let me go back to this part here, is under products you can set up products or you can set up subscriptions. And within subscriptions, really the way that Infusionsoft works is that's just an automatic order created every month, week, year, however you set that up, and we'll do an auto charge on that particular person's card. So that's really helpful because Infusionsoft can manage the billing and the automation and all of that for you. With that being said, Infusionsoft also has, under this e-commerce settings area, a billing automation section. And what the billing automation section allows you to do is set up triggers for when auto charges fail. So for example, if somebody is part of your monthly subscription for 3 months and then it fails on the 4th month, do you want to apply a tag? Do you want to send them an email? What do you want to do? That's an option. Or when a credit card is going to expire, if you want them to make sure that they auto renew that credit card, or if they renew that credit card, we can send them an email 30 days, 15 days, 1 day before that happens. So there's lots of different options there to automate quite a bit with Infusionsoft. That's really it when it comes to the e-commerce section. We didn't really get into looking at order forms and what the shopping cart looks like, but just know that they're basic enough for you to use for really most digital products. And I think I mentioned before, only if you have a really heavy e-commerce would it not really work for your business. And that's really it. So what I want to do next is jump into the campaign builder. All right, so I'm in the campaigns section of Infusionsoft, and what you'll see is that I've got a lot of campaigns here. There is no limit to the amount of campaigns you can add to your Infusionsoft account. And I'm going to start with a blank canvas. Now, I don't really recommend doing that for brand new businesses because there are templates you can download either directly from Infusionsoft or from certified partners that have created their own. But I'm going to go ahead and create a starting campaign here. And we're going to start with a basic lead capture. So I'm just going to call this lead capture. Maybe it's from a white paper that I'm allowing people to download from my website. So once we're in, over on the left, what you're seeing is really the toolbox, and really what most people are interested in is this goals section. Goals are really just triggers, is the best way to think about it within Infusionsoft. So these would be all the specific triggers that you have available to choose from depending on your version of Infusionsoft. And then sequences house all of the automation. So that would be sending the emails, applying tags, creating tasks, those sorts of things. So if we were going to create a very basic lead capture campaign here, what I would do is I would take this web form submitted, would drag it out onto my canvas. I'd probably rename it to whatever I wanted to. And then once I've got that done, I would go ahead and edit the form. So before I drag out a sequence, I'm going to go ahead and just edit this form for now. First name and email is okay, but I've got maybe I'm a B2B business and this is pretty in-depth information, and so I'm actually going to ask also for phone number. So I'm just going to drag out phone number and rename it to maybe best phone to contact. And there you go. That's all going to plug right into the Infusionsoft contact record when they add themselves. There's lots of different options here, so I'm not going to go into those, but just know that it's a form. You can plug it into your website or wherever you need to plug it into. From there, as contacts enter, they're going to go into this particular sequence, and I'm just going to call this tag and follow up. Oops. And you see how I just connected that in. Really what that's telling Infusionsoft is, hey, anyone that fills out this form, put them in this sequence. So this sequence now, when I click into it on the left, you'll notice that my toolbox has changed a little bit. And now I have things related to automation and timers and things like that. So in this particular case, what I want to do is probably tag them as at least a prospect. And I might even tag them also as having requested this particular white paper. So again, I'm not going to do that, but you can see where you could do that and create new tags. You could also remove tags. And then I'm going to send that email, which is deliver white paper. And then the final thing is, because I was collecting their phone number, I actually do want to put a task in here to call prospect. And what I might do is assign an owner before I even do any of that. Maybe I've got a sales team of 3 or 4 people, and so I'm going to use a round robin, and it's not going to let me because I haven't. There we go. And that's, once I've assigned that contact to a particular owner, sales rep, then this task can be assigned to that person. And that's it. I might do one more check-in a couple of days later to see how things are going. So I'm going to put a delay timer here, and then another email, and just ask, did you read the white paper? All right, I'm going to jump into one of these emails because obviously with marketing automation, email is a big part of that. These are the templates that Infusionsoft gives you out of the box. As you can see, they're pretty clean and easy to work with. I'm going to use this one, and let me just say, here's your white paper, and I'm going to have that come from really anyone at this point, but we'll just say the contact's owner. And now I have the ability to edit all of these things. So the way that the email builder works is it's built on blocks. And these are the 9 blocks available to you. And as you can see, buttons are included, images, text, all of that is really included. I'm not going to go into each individual one, but I do want to show you how you can add a new block here. So let me just grab a new button. And let's say I wanted to set it next to this download now button. So maybe we had 2 calls to action. One is download now, the other is contact us. Simple as that. So as you can see, you can drag and move around these buttons as needed, but this is really the basics of the Infusionsoft email builder. I'm going to go back out and jump to this campaign. This is, as I said, a very, very basic campaign. Obviously, as you're using automation, the goal of it is to push them towards the next thing, whatever it might be. Generally, at least in a marketing funnel, it's to push them towards the next milestone. So if they're coming to your website and requesting a white paper, maybe the next milestone is that they actually have a phone call with them. And so if that's the case, with that task being created, I might say that once the task is completed, you'll remember we'd created a task in here to make a phone call. And we'll tell Infusionsoft that, hey, once that is done, and that particular task has been marked as complete, then let's move that contact further down this, our sales process or our marketing funnel. And this portion might be to create automatically the opportunity. We had talked about those a little bit earlier on, but within here we could automatically create that opportunity and do whatever we needed to at that point to move them into more of the sales process, less the marketing process and more of a sales process at that point. So I'm gonna call this campaign good right there. I don't think we need to get into too much other details because what I want to do is just talk briefly about some of these goals that I think you would use. Some of the more popular ones are this tag applied, meaning throughout the system as you apply tags, that then triggers something else to happen. And that's a good way for you to jump from one campaign to the next. Email link clicked is another popular one. As people are engaging with your emails, clicking on links, do you want to route them down different routes? Product purchased, of course, is definitely going to be a marketing automation tool. Quote status, we talked about the quoting briefly. Web page automation allows you to set up triggers based off of different web pages people are viewing. Internal form submitted is a little bit tricky to understand if you don't really know, but it's mostly just some of your users filling out forms on behalf of other contacts. We use the task complete. There's opportunities, there's notes applied, there's flame scores, there's APIs. So obviously lots of different really cool things you can do. And I'll kind of end the conversation about the campaign builder there because really it is a blank canvas, which means you can really get as detailed, as tricky, as ninja, whatever you call it, as you need to. All right, so the last thing I wanted to show you is the marketplace with Infusionsoft. And what you'll see here is that there are a ton of campaigns and a ton of third-party plugins and consultants that you can dive into, take a look at their reviews, get to know them, and see if any one of those would be a good option for you. So I'm just looking at this website here, and like I said, you can just click on any one of these options and it'll pull up a whole bunch of solutions for you. What I wanted to do though is go through a couple of third-party integrations that Infusionsoft has that a lot of other similar automation tools don't have. And so this is one of the really, I think, benefits of having something like Infusionsoft is the community that surrounds this product is really, really good. And so I'll show you some of these options here as I go through some of these tabs up here at the top of my screen. Number one, if you're into SMS or text marketing, this is my tool of choice. It's called Fix Your Funnel, and it allows for some really, really cool integrations and really, really cool um, automated follow-up based on SMS and answering and replying in an automated way based on different answers and things like that. You'll see there's kind of a video here going on of what it can do. There's a lot of other things it can do. I'm kind of just scratching the surface, but that's one of my favorite options, is that it's pretty tightly integrated into Infusionsoft, so that any conversations that are happening on, say, like a mobile device will sync over into Infusionsoft in the notes section. The next one is Graphly. This is a third-party, business intelligence graphing tool for Infusionsoft, and it connects directly to the Infusionsoft API, and then it pulls out in a read-only way all the data from Infusionsoft, which then you can beautify and make look the way that you want it to. And you can see here a couple of examples. I've got a couple of favorite features on this one as well, but as you can see, you can pretty much, if Infusionsoft stores it in the database, you can pretty much pull it out using Graphly as long as the API is available. Next two are very similar. There's one called Plus This and another one called My Fusion Helper. They both do very similar things. And what you'll see here under the feature section is that you can, video triggers, for example, apply a tag if somebody's watching a video for a certain amount of time. Something like that might be really helpful. There's some scarcity things, so if you're into that sort of marketing, you can do some really cool things, again, integrated with automation and make things evergreen. And then there's just a whole lot of other really cool things you can do. Again, My Fusion Helper, very similar things that just extend the functionality that Infusionsoft has out of the box. And then the final one I think is worth mentioning here is Zapier. And if you've been in the online marketing space for any amount of time, you'll probably have already heard of Zapier, but just as a quick overview, it's kind of like a connector into all SaaS or online web apps, pretty much. And so if you want to transfer data from one app to the other one, let's say that you, for example, use Slack really heavily in your business, then as things happen in Infusionsoft, let's say people are signing up for things or products are getting purchased and you want Slack notifications, Zapier would be a great solution for you. And there's hundreds of other uses for it, so I won't go into that, but that's definitely my final favorite one. So I've gone ahead and I've given you some of these options here. Again, I think one of the main strengths that Infusionsoft has over a lot of the other tools out there would be its ecosystems, its apps, its third-party integrations and consultants. And so the marketplace.infusionsoft.com is definitely worth checking out as part of the whole experience. All right, that's it. So thanks for taking a look at this video and sticking it out to the end here. I'm looking at the Infusionsoft website, and I wanted to finish this off by saying, take a look at their website, and they've got a lot of resources and things that will help you decide there as well to see if Infusionsoft is really a good or the right tool for you. But as you can see across the top here, there's a lot of information that they offer. So any questions about any of this stuff that I've talked about today, please leave a comment down below, and I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as possible. You can also check out our website and look at our blog and any other information that we have available there. And we'll talk to you soon. Thank you.